My boyfriend promised to propose on our vacation. Instead, he told me he was in love with someone else. I knew something was off the second we landed, not because he said anything weird, but because he didn't. He just walked 5 steps ahead of me the whole time, like he couldn't wait to be anywhere I wasn't. I had been counting down the days to this trip, packed outfits that took me 2 weeks to plan, booked the oceanfront room myself, and smiled like an idiot every time I thought about the ring I thought was coming. He forgot my favorite snack for the plane. That sounds small, I know, but he always brought it. Every time. And when I pulled it out of my carry-on, I realized I had packed it myself. I even tried handing him one, and he just shook his head and said he wasn't hungry. That's when I should have known. Not because of the snack, but because of the look. He wasn't looking at me anymore. We were supposed to be in Cabo for 5 days. He ended it on the second night. Not even a fight. No screaming. Just a quiet walk back to the hotel from dinner where he suddenly stopped, leaned on a railing and said, "I can't do this." I thought he meant the proposal. I actually braced myself to comfort him. Thought maybe he got cold feet or forgot the ring. That would have been easier. But no, he meant us. He meant the last 6 years. He meant me. He said he was in love with someone else, said it with a straight face, like it was a fact I should accept, like he was telling me the forecast. I didn't cry, not there, not in front of him. I just stood there and nodded like an idiot while my heart did whatever hearts do when they've been sucker punched. I couldn't even feel my legs. I wasn't embarrassed. I was numb. He walked me back to the room like he was doing me a favor, held the door open, started packing his bag. He didn't ask if I was okay. He didn't say sorry. He just said he'd get a flight out in the morning and that I should keep the room. "You deserve to enjoy the trip," he said. That line keeps replaying in my head. You deserve to enjoy the trip? What does that even mean? Was I supposed to grab a mimosa and hit the beach after being dumped like last night's leftovers? He left at 6 a.m. I didn't say goodbye. I pretended to be asleep. He paused by the bed, probably waiting for a scene. When he didn't get one, he left. That was the last time I saw him in person. I stayed the whole week, not because I wanted to, but because I refused to go home early and let everyone know what happened. I couldn't face the questions. Couldn't bear the "what happened" texts or the fake sympathy or the worse, the silence from people who wouldn't know what to say. So I stayed, ate alone, took the pictures I'd planned to take, wore the dresses I'd bought. I smiled in every photo, posted none of them. I deleted the post I'd written in advance, the one where I was supposed to announce our engagement. I had saved it in my notes. It started with, "He asked, and I said yes." I almost threw my phone in the pool. The worst part was realizing how much I had lost without even knowing it. I gave him 6 years. I turned down jobs to stay near him. I skipped girls' trips. I deleted dating apps, watched shows I hated, and stopped asking when we'd get married because he said, "It's coming. Just be patient." I was patient. I lost years, weight, pieces of myself trying to be the perfect person for him. I thought, if I waited long enough, loved hard enough, made everything easy for him, he'd see how lucky he was. Instead, he saw a soft landing for when he wanted to jump. I had spent the last few months thinking I was about to start my forever. Turns out, I was just the pregame for someone else's happy ending. The ring wasn't coming. Not for me, anyway. Maybe she got it. The other one. The one who, apparently, had been in the picture long enough to earn his love while I was still picking out white nail polish for engagement photos. I Googled her. I wasn't proud of it, but I did. He didn't say her name, but I knew. I'd seen the way he started locking his phone. The new coworker he swore was just cool and super smart. The one he said I'd like if I ever met her. I never did. She got the version of him who smiled for real. The one who didn't treat me like an obligation. I didn't call him, didn't text. I didn't beg for an explanation. What would he say? That I was great, just not enough, that he wanted more, that he found his person after spending years building a life with someone else? I went home and unpacked like I was reverse living the last 6 years. Every souvenir, every outfit, every photo I didn't post felt like a joke I wasn't in on. I tossed the photo booth strip from our anniversary, unfollowed him on every app, blocked his number, then unblocked it, then blocked it again. then blocked it again. I couldn't eat for a week. I couldn't sleep without waking up thinking he'd changed his mind, that he'd call, that it was all a mistake. He never did. It wasn't. I had been living in a story I made up, one where patience meant something, where love meant loyalty. I didn't get closure. I got silence. I didn't get a proposal. I got replaced. And now I had to figure out what to do with the life I had planned, without the person I planned it with. The first thing I did when I got back was cancel the bridal workout plan I never told anyone about. I had signed up for a stupid 12-week Tighten and Tone program in January, convinced I'd be engaged by spring. Every time I did the workouts, I pictured a white dress. I wasn't even someone who cared about weddings. I just wanted to feel chosen. Now, I couldn't look at the app without wanting to throw my phone across the room. I didn't cry much. Not at first. The anger was louder, the kind that sneaks in while you're brushing your teeth, while you're walking down the cereal aisle and see his favorite kind, while you're pulling a sock from the dryer and realize it's his, and you almost fold it before remembering he doesn't live here anymore. That kind. I started talking back to my own thoughts, arguing with the part of me that still wondered if I'd done something wrong, if I'd been boring, too comfortable, too patient, too easy. I was so used to blaming myself that I didn't even realize how automatic it was. He cheated, lied, and left. But somehow I was still asking if I'd ruined it by bringing up baby names too early or getting too emotional during that movie he rolled his eyes at. The second week, I got a package in the mail addressed to both of us. A thank you gift from a couple whose wedding we attended a few months ago. They called us their inspiration couple. I left it on the porch for 2 days. Then I opened it, broke the ceramic tray inside, and threw it away piece by piece. It didn't make me feel better, but at least it didn't sit there like a reminder that everyone thought we were perfect. People started asking, friends, family, everyone thought he'd proposed. I had to explain it over and over. No, there was no ring. Yes, we broke up. No, I don't want to talk about it. The worst ones were the people who said, "Wow, I really thought you two were solid." Thanks. Me too. What a helpful comment. He didn't reach out. Not once. Not to check on me. Not to return the things he left here. Nothing. I don't know why that still surprised me. He had already left everything behind like it was a coat he didn't need anymore. I was waiting for closure that wasn't coming, so I started making a list. Not of things I missed, but of all the things I put up with. The little stuff I excused, the way he always cut me off when I was venting, the way he made me feel dramatic when I cried, the way he'd scroll through his phone when I talked about work, the way he always managed to make himself the victim when he messed up, the way I let him get away with it. I went through our texts, read old conversations like they were evidence. I wasn't looking for red flags. I already knew they were there. I was looking at me, at the version of myself who thought being low maintenance meant swallowing everything that hurt, who thought ride or die meant never asking for more than he wanted to give. I was disgusted with her. I wanted to shake her. But I also wanted to protect her because she really thought she was building something real. One night, I went through his social media. I hadn't checked it since the breakup. I don't know what I expected. Maybe a blank profile, maybe a sad quote, maybe something that showed he missed me. Instead, he had already posted a picture with her. Same trip, different girl. Same ocean view, new hand in his. She was smiling in the exact spot I had cried in 2 weeks earlier. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I just stared at the photo and laughed. Because of course he posted it like we never happened, like I was just a pit stop on his way to the real thing. He moved on like he'd been waiting to hit reset. And I was still here, deleting couple photos and untagging myself like a ghost. That's when something shifted. I wasn't sad anymore. Not really. I wasn't hoping he'd come back. I didn't want him to miss me. I didn't even want revenge. I just wanted him out of my head, out of my house, out of every plan I ever made. So I started deleting. Not just photos, not just texts. I cleared my calendar, canceled every event we were supposed to go to together. I unfollowed mutual friends who kept posting him. I blocked her too. Not because I hated her. I didn't know her. But because I didn't need to keep picking the scab. I didn't want her face to show up while I was trying to eat dinner. Then I did something that actually helped. I packed up all his stuff and drove it to his mom's house. She opened the door and looked like she'd seen a ghost. I didn't explain. I just handed her the box, turned around, and drove off. I didn't owe her anything. Not sympathy, not a story. Her son broke me and walked away. She could take the box. The plan wasn't revenge. It wasn't about teaching him a lesson. It was about removing the last excuse I had to think about him. No more, should I text about his hoodie? No more, maybe he'll reach out to get his stuff. There was nothing left to claim. I didn't want him back. I wanted me back. The version of me before I made myself small for a relationship that wasn't going anywhere. The version that didn't check someone's mood before speaking. The version that didn't count calories before date night or stay quiet to keep the peace. I wasn't healed. I wasn't free, but I was awake. And that was enough to start. The call started exactly 31 days after he left. I didn't answer. He didn't leave a voicemail, just a missed call at 10:13 p.m., then another one 5 minutes later. The third came in before midnight. I stared at the screen, half expecting some apology I wouldn't believe, half hoping for something messy that confirmed he was miserable. It took 13 calls in one night for me to finally block his number again. That should have been the win. Not picking up, not giving him access. But it didn't feel like a win. It felt like taking a phone away from a kid who never should have had one in the first place. He had already said what he needed to say on that railing. The only thing left now was noise. I started dating again. Sort of. I downloaded the apps because I felt like I should. Swiped through 100 profiles, barely reading them. I wasn't looking for someone. I was just trying to prove I wasn't broken. Like I could go to dinner, make conversation, act normal. It didn't work. I went on 2 dates, one of which ended with a guy telling me he'd never been in love and didn't believe in monogamy. I deleted the apps on the walk back to my car. I wasn't ready. Not because I missed my ex. I didn't. But because I didn't trust anyone, including myself. I had ignored every warning sign for years. I had believed every excuse, every half answer, every delay. I wasn't scared of getting hurt again. I was scared I wouldn't even see it coming. I started telling the truth more. When people asked how I was doing, I stopped saying fine. I said I was pissed. I said I was tired. I said I couldn't stop replaying conversations, trying to find the exact moment he checked out. Some people backed away, some stayed. Either way, I felt better being real than pretending I was strong or resilient. I wasn't. I was just trying to get through Tuesday. Eventually, I ran into him. Grocery store, I was wearing sweatpants and a hoodie, no makeup. He looked exactly the same. Put together, confident, like nothing had ever touched him. He smiled like we were old classmates bumping into each other after graduation. He asked how I was. I said, "Good." He nodded like that meant something. I waited. He didn't say anything else, just kept standing there, blocking the cereal I actually wanted. After a minute, I stepped around him and kept walking. He didn't follow. He didn't call after me. I didn't turn back. I paid for my groceries, went home, and sat in silence for an hour. It wasn't dramatic. I didn't cry. I didn't feel anything, really. He had been a storm in my life for 6 years, and now he was just a guy in an aisle. That was the real ending. Not the proposal that never came, not the beach, not the box on his mom's porch, just that moment in a store where I realized he couldn't touch me anymore. I started rebuilding after that, not in some grand new life way. I didn't run a marathon or start a business. I just made small choices that felt like mine. I painted my bedroom, changed my hair, threw out the dresses I had bought for vacations we never took. I started eating what I actually liked, not what fit some imaginary bridal plan. I deleted the secret Pinterest wedding board I never showed anyone. I stopped asking what was wrong with me. That was the hardest part. For so long, I believed I had failed, that if I'd been prettier, funnier, more interesting, he would have stayed. But he didn't leave because of who I was. He left because of who he was. And finally, I stopped making that my fault. I won't lie and say I'm totally okay. Some nights still hit hard. Sometimes I still wake up and reach for my phone, forgetting there's no one to say good morning to. Sometimes I still want to scream. But I don't want him back. That part's done. What I want now is space. Time. My own life. Without editing myself for someone else's comfort. Without shrinking to fit. Without waiting for someone to choose me just so I can feel real. He got a new life without me. Good for him. I got something better. The chance to stop pretending I ever needed him to begin with.